You know, the mindfulness meditations are not for you to be making stories and, you know, all these dreams and stuff going on, but to really try to focus, really try to become aware of the thoughts as they're appearing. And then let it go. It's difficult, but it's definitely beneficial. I really like the one we did yesterday, where we visualized the sky and the clouds. I find this is very beneficial for letting go of the thoughts. You know, transform the thoughts into clouds, let it go. So for some people that really works. For some people, analytical meditations work. For some people, just sitting and watching the appearance of the thoughts works. But find a meditation that really works for you, and then go with it. Try to do it every single day. Maybe you have one day off a week, you know, take Saturday off or Sunday off. But try and do 6 days a week. And you'll find over time, your concentration gets better, you're more aware of your thoughts, and then your thoughts are more under control. Instead of one negative thought appears, and it goes on, or one desire thoughts appear, on, you have more control over your thinking process. Maybe before I finish that, the other thing I want to suggest to you is stopping throughout the day every 2 hours. Every 2 hours. So you've done your morning meditation, I don't know, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Try to do your meditation as soon as you get up, before you do anything else. Because I can tell you, once you do anything else, the day starts. And then that's it. It's like thoughts cut in. You start thinking about the day, planning the day. The phone starts ringing. You do your emails. Or you do your emails and meditate at the same time. That's always good. You know, multitasking. So you have to drop everything and just say, this time's for me. And ultimately, it's good for others, right? So it's for me, primarily, but I'm doing it on behalf of others. I'm doing it for others, but I need to do this. Start, like I said, with 10 minutes. And you can build it up gradually. Then, say it's 8 o'clock in the morning. If you have an alarm on your clock, on your mobile phone, set the alarm for 10 o'clock. 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So every 2 hours, stop and take a minute or two and just again refocus. Go back to your mind and see what is happening in your mind at that time. It's really interesting. You know, maybe you're starting to get anxious, maybe you're getting stressed, maybe you're getting angry, but refocus. Keep bringing your mind back to where you want it to be. Don't just let it sort of stampede through the day, and then you get home and you're a mess. Why should your partner or your family have to deal with all this stress and anger throughout the day? You need to deal with it. You need to respond in a different way. So that means getting the day under control. So you need a new habit, being aware throughout the day. This means your work will be better. Everything will be better. Now, there's always somebody who says, oh, but I work in a very busy place. I can't stop every 2 hours. You go to the toilet, don't you? You don't not go to the toilet. So, at 10 o'clock, you go to the toilet. You sit down, you can multitask. Right? In this case, multitasking is okay. Just go to the mind, what was going on in the mind, and let the body function by itself. But just, all you need is that minute or two to know what's gone on in the last 2 hours. If you have a little notebook, write down a couple of notes, because you'll forget. And what I want you to write down is not just the bad stuff, but the good stuff. We forget about the good stuff. You know? We look back over the last month and we think, I'm such a bad person, I got angry with that person, I didn't do that, blah, blah. And we sort of, we beat ourselves down with the bad stuff. But what you need is the two sides to the story. Okay, on the way to work, driving the car, somebody nearly hit me, I stayed calm. That's incredible. Because before, you would have been frothing at the mouth, absolutely angry, chased after them, then realized it's not worth it. Maybe that would have been your response. Or you were on the underground, somebody, elbowed you, you stayed calm. Whatever it is for you, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't have to be anything huge, but just something happened where you saw a change in behavior. Write it down. On the negative side, if something happens, you want to do something about it, write it down. So you've got regular visits to the bathroom, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and you can make your notes. It's very possible to do this. This is not difficult. You only need a minute or 2 minutes. When you get home, you then have your little book with information about the day. And then what you need to do is, I call it a scanning meditation, but it's not the same as the body scan. It's scanning back through the day. So not sitting like this, just sitting in a comfortable chair. You can have a cup of tea or coffee, just thinking back through the day. So take your book. So 6 o'clock, this was the state of my mind. 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock. You go back through the day and then remember the things that you rejoice in. The things that you did well, rejoice. Okay? Those are the things that give you a lot of happiness. The negative things, I got a bit angry, I got anxious or depressed or whatever it is, those are the things that I need to change. So then, what am I going to do in order to change those things? That relates to your morning meditation. Yeah? Because you'll find a pattern. If you do this for 2 weeks, a month, you'll find a pattern. What's the biggest delusion that you have to work with? The biggest delusion. Is it ego, pride? Is it anger? Is it anything? Whatever it is. Find the delusion, and then that's what you need to work with. Because often, I can tell you, we don't know ourselves. We think we know what's going on, but we don't actually know what's going on. So this monitoring every 2 hours gives you information to help you to be able to adjust your meditations, to give you something to rejoice in. I really want you to feel at the end of the day, you've got something to be happy about. Because most people don't feel very happy about their day. They feel stressed, they feel it's all too much, and I rush to work and I go through the day and I rush home, can't even remember the day. Did you do anything good today? Can't remember. It's like that. Well, it's about time you did remember. Because life is too short. Like I said, this might be the only day we have. You don't want to die with that state of mind where there's no joy. You want to bring the joy into your life. And it's your responsibility. Right? I need to find my own joy in my life. And if I can't find it, I need to look at why I can't find it. What's going on in my life? Am I in the right job? Am I needing to study something? Sometimes we need to study something in order to be able to get into a better job. So to have a plan. So it's not just about meditation and dealing with the emotions, but you may find things to do with your work, things to do with your education. It could be in any area. But do something about it. Don't keep saying, oh, I'd really like to do a degree, but next year. Or I'd like to learn, some people say, oh, I'd like to learn reflexology or something like that, but I'm so busy. No time. You know? When are you going to have time? So you keep putting it off, putting it off. I'd like to take up yoga. No time. Find time, do it, right? And then you'll find that at the end of the day, you come home, and instead of having all this stress and anxiety, you have more of a balanced equanimity mind. Your mind's not going up and down so much, because you're finding your balance throughout the day. If you stop every 2 hours, you're finding the balance. If you're not balanced, you need to go back to the morning meditation. All right? So if you're feeling anxious, angry, you know, something's disturbing you. You found it in those 2 hourly times. You don't know what it is, but something's really disturbing you. Stop, go back to your breath, remember the morning meditation. Physiologically, your body will respond and your body will relax because it will remember the morning meditation. Okay? So that's why the morning meditation is really important for you. You understand? It's clear? Yeah. So the morning meditation is like the injection. Yeah? You need that morning meditation in order to give you the injection. You've recognized you've got suffering. You've recognized there is a sickness. The sickness is called suffering. You want to remove the suffering. So the morning meditation gives you the potential to remove the suffering. But that's not enough. You've got the whole day. You know, that 10-minute meditation or half an hour or even an hour meditation is not enough. You've still got 23 hours to go. Even if you do an hour's meditation, you've got 23 hours more. It's not enough. So that's why we need to bring the meditation into the day, so that then you start to change the day. Your response will be different. You'll start to bring more and more happiness into the day, and you'll reduce the suffering. Yeah? But this will happen over time. But basically, you know, what we're talking about in these days is, what are emotions? For you to think about your emotions and to think about positive and negative emotions. Because we all have some negative emotions, and, you know, as we found, we think that some of them work for us, some don't work for us. The ones that we think are working for us, we also need to look at and decide if that negative emotion goes out of control, will it still work? Is it still okay? So without judgment, without being heavy towards ourselves, just to look at our own minds and find the delusion, the afflictive emotion that is within our minds, and then make a decision as to whether it's working for you or not. Is it something that you want to welcome into your home, if you want to put it that way? If you have a beautiful house, I used to have a boss who loved white, so she was a designer. Yeah. So she designed these houses where the walls were white, the settee was white, the carpet was white. This is a long time ago, when white was in, I guess. Quite terrifying, you know? You didn't want to drink a cup of tea. You didn't want to even move for terror of this white, yeah? Well, imagine that's your mind. Your mind, the actual nature of your mind is all of that. White, like the white room. Everything clean. But on top of that is the emotions, the karma, you know, it obscures it. So that's like the garbage, right? So you've got this beautiful white room. Do you want to go outside to the garbage bin, fill plastic bags with garbage, come back into the room, and then throw it all over the room? The horrible, smelly garbage. You wouldn't do it. And yet, with our mind, we don't think of it that way, as inviting this garbage in, these emotions that are really difficult to deal with. It's like inviting it into this really beautiful, pure place and polluting it. And then we say, why am I suffering? We're creating the suffering by inviting these things in to this beautiful environment. So Buddha said, the mind's nature is pure. These emotions are adventitious. You understand adventitious? They take advantage. Right? So it's like the ocean, the nature of the water of the ocean, the nature of the water is to be smooth. Right? But then you get the waves, isn't it? Because of the conditions, the waves appear. It's the same with the mind. The mind's nature is to be calm, peaceful, have wisdom. It has a very beautiful nature. But these emotions take advantage. They disturb the mind. They make you see things in a different way. And then you think what you're seeing is reality. You think it's true. Right? So when you're experiencing a strong emotion, because it's disturbed your mind, it affects your senses. So whatever is appearing through the senses cannot be trusted. Anyway, cannot be trusted. You can check this with your eyes, with your ears. There's many, many tricks that can be played on our senses. So our senses are not 100%. But even worse is when we have an afflictive emotion. To afflict, to change the way that we can see the world. To see the world in a different way, in a more suffering way. But thinking that the world exists in that way and it's all about them. They're the problem. Right? Not me. I'm okay. Sort of, I think I'm okay. It's like that book, I'm okay, you're okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. It must be them. Right? So Buddha said, it's not about them, it's about you. If you're seeing things that you don't like the appearance of, if you're seeing it, it's something to do with you. It's not something to do with them. The appearance is because of your mind. So then take responsibility, and because of the responsibility that you've taken, you can then change. You're enabled to change. So when we're talking about delusions, we're talking about something that disturbs the mind. The mind, being peaceful, becomes unpeaceful, becomes disturbed. And when it's anger, then it sees others as the enemy. The mind becomes unpeaceful. When it's jealousy, the mind becomes unpeaceful and it sees something that it wants to have. When it's pride puts you up, right? I'm better than you. You think of being proud, When you're proud, it's said that there's a mountain and it's like you put yourself on top of the mountain. You're alone. And nothing grows on top of the mountain. Everything grows down in the valley. Yeah? So actually you want to be, in Switzerland. If you live right on the top of that mountain, you can't grow anything, right? You have to be down in the valley. So down in the valley is where everybody else is. But when you're proud, you've stuck yourself up on the top of the mountain. And you say, I'm the best, I'm wonderful. Now there's a problem with pride, self-esteem. Isn't there? If you drop pride, and I think we're quite often taught to be proud, If you drop pride, do you go to low self-esteem? That's not where we want to go. I'm the worst in the world, I'm terrible. We don't want to go to that. We want to have a good self-esteem, but not be proud. So then what is proud? You have to think of what pride is. It's something inflated, right? Each one of the delusions is something that's exaggerated, something that's inflated, something that's not realistic. Okay? So, pride would be, I'm the best in the world, I'm the most beautiful in the world, something like that would be pride. It's something exaggerated, okay? I'm the worst in the world, the opposite. We also do that. I'm terrible, I'm the worst, You can keep saying that to yourself over and over. Also not true. So what we have to find is good self-esteem. What can you do, and what are you good at? You must be good at doing something, right? Because people say, I'm depressed, I'm so depressed, I'm useless. You're not useless. There is something that you can do. There is something that you're good at. Find it. So we have to have good self-esteem. So when we're dealing with these emotions, first of all, we need to know that we have the emotions. We need to find a way to work with the emotions, not suppressing them, not to be unskillful, right? Because if you say, this emotion is really bad, I don't like it, I'm going to suppress it, that's not constructive, that's not helpful. And then the other thing is releasing it. That's also not helpful. So somewhere between, And that's not easy to find, that balance. So it takes time to find the balance. And again, while you're trying to find the balance, you have to be kind to yourself. Not beating yourself up about making mistakes. We're going to make mistakes along the way, but at least you have a good motivation, you have a good reason for doing this. So think about, when you're suppressing, how does it feel? You're really angry, your boss says, oh, you're the worst in the world, blah, 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 and you suppress it. You're banging the drawers, and slam the door, and, you're communicating you're angry, and people say, are you angry? No, I'm not angry at all. You're sort of mashing the pencils or something, or sharpening a pencil. One pencil finished. We can't hide it, right? It's in the body language. People can see it. So the suppression doesn't work because there's a body language saying you're angry. Then also releasing it, screaming and shouting in work, throwing things at the boss, also doesn't work, right? You won't last long. So somewhere in between. So we have to find a way of working with the energy of the anger and transforming the energy.